Say we're good? Fantastic. That was smoother than the last time. Good job, team Printiverse. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Sophie. I see you back there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What Have You Done For Me Lately? Adding More Value to Customers Beyond Service. This is our 2 o'clock panel. Welcome, panelists. I'm Deborah Korn from Print Media Center, your hostess with the mostest. Just so you guys know, I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask. I also crowdsourced a bunch of questions from my print chat, so there are questions mixed in from the audience already. Right. Sandy Hubbard, the moderator of print chat, has questions herself, as well she is monitoring the social streams and taking questions from there and live stream. And as always, we encourage our attendees in the booth to ask questions. We don't obviously vet any questions, so they're honest questions, and we'll answer them as we answer them, and that's how it'll go. So let's start off very simply with a few words of who you are and what you do. Eva?
Okay. Hello, I'm Eva Rosen, and I'm representing Arific Development, and that's a Swedish company. I'm really born and raised in this industry because my parents had a company where I was growing up. So literally I have lead in my veins. For 10 years ago, my partners and I took over this printing company. And what we found out was that the quoting process is terrible. It's time consuming and not fun for anyone, not for the printer and not for the customer, yeah. And that's why we invented Arific, which is an automated quoting and order system, so you can order online anytime, even a non-printer, so the customer and anybody at the printing house can do the quoting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they're right across from us, literally, if you want to learn more. Joanne?
Hi, I'm Joanne Gorm, the Director of Marketing for Avanti. Avanti Slingshot is our award-winning Print MIS solution. It's a cloud-based system. It can be hosted on-premise, but most people prefer the cloud-based access to it. We did win a couple of must-seems this year, so hopefully you can all come by the booth, 654, and check us out. I also have a very long history in print. That's what I studied back in the day when there were no computers, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike McConville. I work for GPA, Specialty Substrate Providers. I'm an area vice president, and I have been in the business for a number of years as well. Our company really focuses on specialty substrates like plastic, pressure-sensitive films, and digital as well as offset print devices, and kind of think of ourselves as a paper company with kind of a marketing brain from our perspective. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, but I believe it's your birthday today? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I think we've got a present instead of you. Actually, they have their own mic over there. You get to, that's your present. You get to keep your mic.
That?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Parker. I'm the champion of print at Profitable Print Relationships. And what I find is there's a whole load of printing companies out there that are fed up with the constant focus on price. They're struggling to stand out from the competition, and they're frustrated with the lack of customer loyalty. So I help train printing companies to overcome these issues. And what makes me different is I used to buy print. So everything that I do comes from the customer's perspective. And if you'd like to find out more, I'm running a workshop tomorrow at 8 o'clock here on how to stop print buyers choosing on price. So do come and see me if you'd like to book a place on that after the panel today.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
Paul?
Excellent. Thank you. Happy to be here at
Thank
the
you.
Printiverse. There was an alien in my booth earlier, too. My name is Paul Abdul. I'm with Solimar Systems. I'm Vice President of Enterprise Solutions. And at Solimar, we help people to take data, documents, and distribute those, whether it's on a printer, through the mail, or electronically, and we store them as well. I've met a lot of these people before, and I was very happy to join the Printiverse this year.
Thank you very much.
Inaugural trip.
Yay. I'm actually going to start with you, Paul, if you don't mind. how do you define and how do you differentiate value from service?
Value from service. Oh, good one. I think service is something that you do when you are asked to do it. You have to take care of a particular problem or a client. I think value is something that you create for them. So you hear about demands in the market and you try to take things to another level. And I think for me, that would be the way I distinguish it.
Okay, Matthew, I'm going to skip you because I'll follow up with you at the end. But Dave, birthday boy? I'm just going to call you birthday
Thank
boy
you.
from now on.
So great answer. I think there's a reactive measure to service. I think looking at value is more proactive, and it's trying to build from a commodity-based thought process into adding value, looking at solutions, and working within companies that understanding decision makers, what the needs of the companies are, looking to help them grow rather than providing a service and a product. We look to figure out ways to understand a business, help people recognize the talent that they have and the ability for them to grow their business. And we've done a lot of that, working very closely with our customers and trying to build value for them to offer their customers.
Thank you very much. Joanne?
So it's tough because they pretty much said what I wanted to say. So I like the expression, you don't know what you don't know. And to me, adding value is when I can help somebody learn something that they don't know, that hopefully I do or the company does. And if you can educate somebody and at the same time help them improve their business, help them be better for their customers, then to me that's adding value.
Thanks.
And you know what? Let me add to something that Joe just said. Somebody said this to me this morning on the bus ride over to the conference. They said, it was valuable learning some things from you last time we met, even though your software doesn't actually do it. I mean, maybe
Right.
I can pass them on to somebody I know. And they said that helped them with a few things.
That's valuable. Eva?
Yeah. Value to me is something that means something. So when when we give the customer value, he or she got time, for instance, very valuable, or money is also very valuable. Yeah.
Valuable. She's from Sweden, so we're going to help her a little.
Yeah,
Depends which
thank you.
currency.
Thank you.
We're on your side.
Yeah, great. But service is how really? How
Yeah.
you create the
Yes,
value.
that's, yeah.
And for us, we have this software who we think creates value for customers.
Thank you. Okay, this is actually a question from crowdsourced question.
Okay.
Yes, print chat question. Thank you, Paul. This is from Convertible Solutions. I'm pretty sure they might be an exhibitor here. They want to know, how do you rate customer satisfaction? So, do you want to start with you, or should we come back? Okay, we'll come back. Actually, before we move on, let me just ask Matthew the value question, because you talk directly with printers all the time. What is, the question, how do you differentiate value from service?
Okay, so to my mind as a buyer, the value that I have is in the product or the service that I'm purchasing from the printer, because I'm not going to make a purchase unless I see some value in it, if it doesn't help me or my business. The service is what I get when that product or service, the service is when someone delivers that product to me or their service to me. That is what comes along with that. That's the way in which it's delivered, or not, as the case may be.
Right.
And I just want to hit a quick statistic here, because we all love statistics, but 80% of companies think they deliver above average customer service. 11% of customers think they receive above average customer service. So maybe the customer service that we think we give, maybe it's time to go back and reevaluate that and think about what it really is. And actually the way to achieve that is probably through the next question.
Exactly. It's a perfect tie-in. How do you monitor? How do you rate customer satisfaction, and how do you track it? So let's start with Birthday Boy. I'm just calling him Birthday Boy now.
Thank
Gina.
you, birthday boy. So customer satisfaction, I think, as a sales organization, understanding and asking our customers that particular question is really important, and understanding that when we ask that question, we need to follow through on what they're looking for. We see that customer satisfaction for our best customers creates loyalty, and it creates a real return on investment for both them and for us in that relationship, so that it's a win-win. And they're getting us involved in projects earlier in their cycles. They're looking for us to be able to help them develop new business for their customers, not just us provide a service to their business. And I think the customer satisfaction piece that we try to look at in terms of metrics, we do surveys, we do things that are getting responses. Our marketing team is very focused on that. We've created social media opportunities for people to give us feedback. And with Twitter and with some other things that are happening, being very focused on listening to your customer first, but then again making sure we focus on a solution for them, and it's customization. So you can't just do one thing for one customer that you think is going to hit and be perfect for everyone.
Joanne?
Okay, so I'm going to put my marketing hat on for a little bit, and yes, of course, there's customer sat surveys, and one of the things we do at Avanti is we have our user group conference, which grows every year. But to me, part of the customer satisfaction, you have to be willing to hear the hard stuff too. And when you talk about social media, I remember when it first began, many companies did not want to be on social media because they were worried that there would be negative comments posted, and how could they deal with that? You have to be willing to take those negative comments and use them as an opportunity to make yourself better and deliver better customer service. And a lot of companies out there have turned themselves around based on the negative feedback and the negative comments. So it doesn't, yes, we're all looking for the 98% satisfaction rate, but we have to be also looking for those lost customers. Why did we lose the deal? What's going on? And also remember to thank the existing customers. This morning I was in a session and somebody made the comment of, when you're doing an offer, 25% off or get a discount or get whatever, new customers only. Well, why? Why aren't you treating your existing valued customers to the same, if not better? They're the ones that are going to be referring you to other people or posting those negative comments.
I say that all the time to my cell phone company. I hate that.
Go ahead, Paul.
Right? You know what, though? I'll tell you. My bank, I go in there to do something. I rarely go into the bank, right? But my mortgage was due, and they said, it'll take 5 minutes for you to renew it. Why? They had a really good system that they had measured all the things that I'd done with them, and they actually lowered my mortgage rate based on it being a good. That's the only time it's happened to me. When does that happen? So I think there might be a movement. With respect to customer satisfaction, I think the easiest way to measure it is that they come back. When you're in the software business, we have annual renewals for licenses and things like that. If they don't renew that or turn off their support, it means they're not satisfied or they've done something else. So it's shame on us if we don't do that. So our literal measurement of it is the renewal rate.
Well, let me ask you, don't you think you should be a little more preemptive than that? Isn't it, if they're not renewing, isn't that a sign that you maybe missed the boat somewhere along the way?
Absolutely.
Of getting their feedback?
Absolutely. We've put together programs for that. Going back to the value question is, I think in our industry, and salespeople are guilty of this a lot, especially if you're in the printing business where there's 4 or 5 year leases or something like that. Coming back to what have you done for me lately, they haven't done anything lately for 3 or 4 years, so it's time to buy a new one. So I like to, and then you're your friend again, right? And one of my customers said to me, you got to date me a little bit, right? Like, take me out to dinner between these things. When I say that, and they were using the dating analogy, but you can't just show up and think something's going to happen. So I think that's important. I call it the off cycle, and I think one of our focuses is working in the off cycle to give them that value and helping them do something to improve, whether it's with us or not.
Thanks. Eva? Yeah? Give her the mic. All right, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I should put my printer hat on this one, because when we use Arific and the customers can do the quoting themselves, we actually find out that they order more, for higher value for each order.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one.
Is that because your quote comes back faster than waiting for a quote?
No, they do it themselves. If you order a trip, for instance,
Oh, okay.
or you should add this and you should add this, and it's not so much more expensive if you have 5 colors than 4. So you get a higher value. So that's really easy to measure. And also, as you said, if the customer comes back, of course, it's very easy. And we have lots of customers that would never go anywhere else because we save a lot of time for them. So, yeah.
Okay, and just so the panel knows, I'm kind of using Matthew as the reality check here, because he actually does speak with these people. So just reality check, everybody.
Okay, so in terms of the actual metrics of how do you measure customer satisfaction, I'm still learning about this, but my understanding is that really what we should be looking at these days is Net Promoter Score. And there's a couple of printers who are just coming in and using Net Promoter Score, and it's basically how many people would recommend your company. And if you measure that, that gives you a fairly accurate idea of customer satisfaction.
And how are they implementing that?
Like I said, I'm just learning about that. So, but there are printers implementing it, and it's typically, as I understand it, through a simple survey, going, would you recommend us? And they take a score out of 100 on that, and then they can measure that against either an industry benchmark, although I'm not sure it's that common in the print industry right now, or against a wider benchmark of other market sectors as well.
Okay, cool.
The other thing I'd say is, how do you measure customer satisfaction? It's a very simple thing you can do, which is after each job or on a regular basis, send out one question to your customer. What could we do better? Now, when your customer comes back and says nothing, then you're achieving good customer satisfaction. Right. Until then, you've got a great opportunity for continuous improvement. But it's only worth asking that question if you're prepared to act on the answers. And as Joanne said, take the bad stuff on board and do something about it.
Thanks so much. Okay, I have a combo question from a bunch of people. From Village Print, from Joe Kern of PagePath, from Renee Berger of Western States and Envelopes, and they would like to know, how do you build customer loyalty, and are loyalty programs effective? If you offer them, can you please share successes that you have had? Do you want to start, or you move to someone else first? Okay, let's start with Joanne then.
How do you build customer loyalty? I think it sort of wraps in everything we've been saying. If you are respectful to your customers, respectful to their needs, and are offering value in addition to pristine service and helping them grow and be more profitable and more successful, that's how you can encourage loyalty. From a print perspective, I work for a software company, so I'm trying to think, how would you do that for a software company? If I was back in the print industry selling print, to me it would be as simple as, take the coffee card model, and for every certain amount dollars worth of print you purchase, we will give you X amount more, or we will we'll throw in an extra varnish because you've been so loyal to us. There are ways to help the customers, give them a little something, make them feel special. That's really what people want, I think. They want to feel that you really do care, that you know their name, that they feel special, you know about them, and you will walk that extra mile in order for them to be successful.
Do you have customer loyalty programs at all?
I'd say, to me, our user group would be the equivalent of customer loyalty. We do a lot with our user group. The annual conference is one of those things that we do to really focus on what can we do better for you and how can we help make you more loyal and refer other customers to us.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question, and I think depending on what type of customer base you have, you may look at it in a few different ways. In our business, many of our customers talk to us every day, and they look to us for solutions every day. So when we're getting questions asked of us to help them, we feel that we're part of, again, their decision making. A loyalty program such as buy one get one free, that may create some awareness, but I think as you build relationships, we're thinking more toward building programs, so that whether it's a vendor managed inventory or whether there's an educational series or ways to help their salespeople understand their markets based on what we've learned with our experience, then you do create those loyalty thoughts, and people come to you for answers, and they look for you for advice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eva?
Customer loyalty, it's research shows that customer loyalty is more about how you sell it and not what you sell. So you have to go out and ask the customers, how do you want to buy this? How do you make their life more easy for the customers?
You're talking about customer experience, which is a very important point. So thank you very much for bringing that up. Paul?
First of all, we don't have a customer loyalty program, and kind of to Birthday Boy's point, is that it's not the type of thing you can necessarily do in an economical way like the coffee card thing. For them, it's a financial component that can work. I think for us, it is what we've seen is as business has grown, or you do more business with them, it's more like the other example you were saying, that their next purchase might be discounted at a certain rate because of that. So we don't have that in particular from a program perspective. But from a loyalty thing, Joe mentioned a user group. We have the same thing. We have a great user group meeting annually, and now we're happy to say that we're doing one in the UK as well as South Africa for the first time this year. And that has created that warmth, being able to ask hard questions, pointed questions, talk to your peers in the business, who you can then go back and when you're not working with our support team, you could call them and ask them, how did you do that? And I think it starts to create a synergy amongst your own customers that creates some loyalty as well.
And Matthew, have you come across any successful loyalty programs? You can feel free to answer as you like here.
Okay. I have not, and I'm not sure that a traditional loyalty program works for a printing company, because if, for instance, to take Joe's example, you throw in a varnish, well, I may not need that varnish anyway. And if you give me 20% extra for free, well, then next time I expect that 20% in the price. So I think the way to build customer loyalty is two ways. First of all, never get shown up by the competition. So every time a competitor comes in and goes, I've got this really good idea for you, I've got this better way of doing things, I should be able to say, no, my current supplier's already done that. If my supplier's already ahead of the curve, I'm going to stay with them. And the second thing is, for me, if you want to keep me as a customer, just buy me lots of chocolate. I'm really shallow, but you know what? I think quite a lot of buyers are as well.
Joanne, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing. We talk about referrals and whatnot, and people move from company to company. To me, loyalty is if a customer I had at company X is now at company Y and picks up the phone and says, hey, I really loved the experience we had with you when I was at company X. Although we may have another solution provider here at company Y, I want you to come in and bid on this job. I want to give you that opportunity. To me, that speaks customer loyalty.
And this is actually a good follow-up. It's sort of along the lines where we're talking about, and we've touched upon this a little, but I do want to give the people who asked questions a chance to ask them. So, did you want to? Yeah, you got it. Okay, so this is from Connecticut Print, and they want to know, how do you build brand ambassadors in your market segments? We're kind of touching upon this, but perhaps we can go a little further. You want to start?
Sure.
Dave?
So brand ambassadors, similar to what Joanne was saying, where you've got people that know your company, they want to promote your company. If asked, would you recommend? People understand that there is an image about my company that I need to develop, and it should be positive. And as you look at that brand image, taking some time to think about who within your company is making that brand live. And really, I think it's important to help people recognize that there should be some training, there should be some coaching, whether it's a salesperson, whether it's customer service, whether it's the person delivering the paper and to your customers. There's a lot of different contacts, and there should be really an understood mission statement and vision in your company that is projected and that everyone really believes in, and it's communicated, it's put up on the wall. It's for people to recognize and be a part of and take ownership in, because that's how your brand is developed.
Thank you very much. Paul?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm glad I had a couple seconds to digest it, because I think there's 3 brand ambassadors. There's me as a company working, an employee there, going out, doing things to build that brand. I think there's your business partners who, when you partner with them, they do things for you, whether it's including you in a newsletter, whether it's telling a customer of theirs about you and referring you. And then there's your customers. So I think those are the 3, and the customer ones are built over time, and as you support them and they feel all those warm and fuzzy good things about your products and service.
Eva?
I'm not sure I really understand the question, but
Okay, how do you create your customers to promote your product?
Okay.
How do you create loyal fans of your products?
Yeah. I think it's all about how you live your own brand, and that and they can feel that, and they know what it's
Right.
all about. Yeah.
It's back to customer experience, and I agree. There's a difference between, for example, if I go to your website and I can't understand immediately what you do, then I'm not having a good customer experience, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
If I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, then I am gone, and I'm gone on to the next search. And it doesn't enable me to be able to say, oh no, everything you need to know is on that website. It's easy to understand. They'll contact you in 2 seconds. So I agree with what you're saying there. So the customer experience is very important. Do you have a follow-up, Joanne? And then Cindy will take some questions from home.
So for me, the first thing is to clarify that a brand is more than a logo. A brand is about the values of the company and what the company stands for. So you have to make sure that is apparent across all channels: print, online, offline, social, apparel, everything. And if you have to, it goes back to me again, it goes back to the values. So I'll just use Avanti as an example. We're known that if you want to talk to the president, you can talk to the president. He'll come on sales calls. He'll be there at an implementation if needed. It's completely open. The layers aren't there. And we're really well regarded and respected for that fact, and it's part of our brand. Way beyond the gold and white logo on black. So that's sort of how I sort of take that approach.
Thanks. Matthew?
Okay, so 2 things. Firstly, echoing what Joanne said there, give your brand ambassadors something to rave about, first of all. So I ordered a new rucksack, recently arrived, and they put a packet of sweets in it. I think it's great. So if you want to order some outdoor gear, go to Wiggle, because I had a great experience there.
Was it chocolate?
It wasn't chocolate, no, but I'm prepared to be flexible on these things. But whether it's something as simple as that, or whether it's the fact that the president rang you up personally, or the way they sorted out a problem, give something to make your ambassadors raving fans to begin with, and then next tell them that you want to be the brand ambassadors, because there's so many. If we've got good customers, they're happy to spread the word, but sometimes they just need a gentle nudge and a reminder that you'd like them to do that, or that they might know a particular type of person that you want to be in contact with. So actually train them to be your brand ambassadors as well. But the ambassador bit, I just like Paul's bit as well, because it is much wider than just the customer. I know we're talking about the customer now, but I think we have to bear in mind that the brand ambassador, it should be everyone in the company and everyone who has contact with the company.
And I'd just like to add too, my background is also as a print buyer, and printers should get testimonials from people like me at all times, especially after there was a crisis and you resolved it. I can't tell you that when we recommend vendors to each other, we don't recommend it on price, quality, and service, in the sense that service in the sense of just regular everyday stuff. We recommend people to each other based upon, okay, I had a crisis and this person was there, didn't ask any questions, reprinted it, it was at my door, and then we worked out whatever had to be worked out. And that's how we actually recommend each other. And when those things come up and you have helped that customer, that is the best time to ask them for a recommendation and throw it up on your website, because even things happen. Everybody knows mistakes happen, things happen, but it's how you address it and how you help me, who is panicking, remain calm, that will get you the testimonials that really speak to the other purchasers. Matthew, did you have a follow-up? And then I'm going to pass it over to Sandy.
Okay, and if you're getting testimonials, we've all seen the ones that goes, hey, Matthew's a really great guy and he's a really nice guy to work with and he's fabulous. And we just know that I gave someone a pint to write that for me. Okay?
That's a beer in American, everybody.
Sorry, yeah, okay, beer. Okay, but if you're going to get a testimonial, get a realistic one and get people's real experiences and how they felt, the worries they had beforehand, so it becomes believable. And I have actually got a whole structure of questions I ask to get testimonials. I'll share them with anyone who's interested afterwards. But just get realistic ones.
Thank you very much. And now, Sandy, do we have questions from home? We have questions from the audience. Perfect. Any questions from the attendees? Creating value for customers? Anyone? Okay, we'll take some from home and then we'll see if we can't get some unshy people. Linda, I'm sure you have a question.
No, okay. We have a little bit of a lag, so a lot of the folks are commenting on things you said a couple minutes ago, but I'm kind of inferring that, like with the last panel, they like everything you're saying, and you're well ahead of anticipating what people's questions are. One of the questions that I wondered about, are there trends in customer service beyond just kind of what your inkling is about your own customers? Do you read magazines, or how do you find out like what the global trends are in customer service?
You know, I don't know if I've personally seen trends in customer service. I think what we are seeing, though, is because of the immediacy of communication today, whether it's Twitter or feedback from different levels within an organization once they've used your stuff, that people are expecting a very quick reaction. And I think, if anything, that is probably the trend that I'm seeing, is the immediacy of responses.
Okay.
You want to go, Joe?
Okay. So customer service, I think defining that is an important step too. We think about customer service sometimes as a person answering the phone, and that's important. I think as we build our company, as you said, Paul, people want to have a response immediately. So whether that's using, whatever device you have, whether that's connecting your company so that everyone is aware of, we just got an order in, here's the information, here's how we're going to act on it. the customer service component is all perception from your customers, not what you think. It's what their experience is. And knowing about how do you influence that with the broad number of people that touch or are connected with your customers is extremely important. And again, part of that value that you bring as a company is how do you build that team and that recognition so that people are acting on their own to create that value for their customers because they want to and they understand what their customers need.
So I'm going to use an example that has nothing to do with print, but to me it speaks customer service. I wear a Fitbit. Some of you know it tracks my steps. I was at a trade show back in August and I lost it. And I was near the top of my leaderboard. I'm not even going to go there. So I tweeted out, can't believe I lost my Fitbit. There goes me getting to the top of the leaderboard. And I was tweeting it more for my followers. I kid you not, within 15 minutes, there was a tweet back to me from Fitbit saying, we're really sorry you lost your Fitbit. Please contact customer service and let's see what we can do to get it replaced. I had a new Fitbit within a week. That to me, and then I, of course, tweeted that great customer, now they have a customer for life. I will be loyal to them because they went above and beyond. I never even asked them. I won't mention the fact that it's the third one that I lost that they've replaced. So that's above and beyond.
A major global trend for customer services is absolutely self-service. And now the self-service have come to custom print as well. It's reached every other industry as well, and we had it for web to print shop in print for fixed format. So self-service.
That's actually a good point, yes.
Yeah.
That's a great example. The two trends I'm seeing at the moment, first is a growing awareness of Net Promoter Score, and secondly, it's a movement away from people to actually want to give customer service. And so many times recently, customer service has only happened because people are worried about their image. So for instance, friends of ours came back from holiday, the airline lost their bags, they found them, and they were just being held at the airport and nothing was being done, despite all the phone calls, until a tweet was sent out, and suddenly, whoomph, everything was being sorted immediately because they're worried about the image, not about the customer service. And I'm seeing that more and more. Happened to me recently when I was trying to sort out some travel as well. You know, goodness knows how long to hold on the phone, send a tweet and it gets sorted. And that's not customer service. But we need to bear in mind that if we want to retain customers, customer service isn't particularly a sales advantage, but if you want to retain your customers, you've got to keep customer service. And just relying on someone tweeting it that they're unhappy is not enough about it, because the one person who raises their hand about it, there'll be 9 or 10 who've gone away.
This has been a really interesting discussion. One of the trends in customer service among major corporations is that they don't find it profitable. In other words, the cost of providing customer service exceeds what corporations believe to be the value of offering customer service, which does bring up the issue of budgeting from a managerial standpoint. How do you budget for customer service? Does it come out of your marketing budget? Is it personnel? Is it in training? I think this is a real issue. What Matthew just said about the threat of a damaged reputation is what drove a corporation to act. Joanna, both of you mentioned once you went public with it, you got more response. The need to automate customer service is clearly a budgetary issue. So is this something that comes up in your discussions in your company about your customer service? Is it something that you think should come up? How do we how do we market? How do we treat our customers? And importantly, how do we pay for this kind of customer service?
Yeah. So that's a great question. But customer service doesn't have to be a single role. So traditionally, customer service will come from your production team or your customer account handling team. Now, it's very difficult to measure how many customers you're losing and how much damage you're having. But what you can do is you can also measure the upsells you get as a result of that team. And if you say to that team, give them great customer service, but do some upselling as well, I think they can pretty much pay for themselves a lot of the time. But a lot of the time we go, actually, customer service and sales shouldn't mix, and account handlers aren't salespeople. We miss a huge revenue opportunity because most of your revenue is going to come from your current satisfied customers, not from the new people that you're paying your salespeople often large amounts of money to go round to try and find, and they're hard to get these days.
Yeah, great question. We're a relatively small company, 100 people, but we invest quite a lot in customer service. And it's over 10% of our organization are what you would typically call a customer service representative on the phone speaking to people. And then we have a sales team. And part of the training and development that we have is to try to give our salespeople more opportunities to consult and to be with our customers face to face, not maybe handling the transactional information. So customer service we see is in some cases a little more transactional, but adding value as part of that conversation. But as we've all said, the role of customer service isn't just for that person answering the phone. And that's a concept that I think we've seen a return on investment in developing our team with training, as I've mentioned before, that's absolutely helped our growth.
Yeah, go ahead, and then we have to stop at that.
Can you tell me if the customer is always right?
The customer is not always right. First of all, there's very few absolutes in this world. But I think when we see an upset customer or somebody who's arguing or debating something, it's because of a disconnect in the expectations. I think it could be a misunderstanding of the capabilities of something, you know, and I'm talking in general terms here, not just as a somebody who has a print company or software vendor or anything. If you are disconnected, there's going to be dissatisfaction with respect to those things. So I think the customer can think that something is the way you do it or the way they've always done it, but I also say that good people mask bad processes. So a lot of times the way that they were doing it wasn't right to begin with, and they need to be re-educated.
Thanks. Joanne?
I've completely forgotten.
Is the customer always right?
No, I just forgot.
Okay, should we go to somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Ava. Let's go to.
That's going to happen when I say something so profound, Joanne.
Yes, Paul, you're the man.
Well, in our case, the answer is no, the customer is not always right, because you can't beat the system.
You can't beat the system?
You can't beat the system because we have customers who said, no, this can't be right, the system is quoting the wrong way.
Oh, the system is quoting the wrong way, yeah.
So
the customer can't be right, your system is right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's an interesting answer. The customer's wrong because our software is right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, I kind of remembered what I was going to say. So I said it earlier. To me, it boils down to respect. It has to be a two-way street. The customer feels that they are always right, and there's nothing wrong with that, even if they're wrong. It doesn't mean you say you're wrong. You just find a way to make them feel right. And then after the issue is resolved, sometimes you have to make those hard choices. Is it time to fire the customer? Is this the type of customer that is always going to be complaining because they realize that if they say you did it wrong, well, you'll get this job for free next, or I can get a deal, or whatever. So again, you have to be open to really be humble and respect that maybe they're wrong, but why are they so adamant about this? And going back to what Paul said, where is that communication falling apart? And what do we need to do to fix it? What can we learn? And I think it goes back to everything we've been saying from the beginning.
That sounds like document therapy.
Does anyone else have want to answer, because we do need to end? Go ahead. Okay, Matthew. Okay.
Okay. I was a customer, and I wouldn't admit this in public, but just between the few of us here, it's not like we're going out on the internet and a thing. I wasn't always right. I'm usually right, but not always.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody very much for their time. You can go see everyone in their booths and learn more about what they do. We have a fabulous panel about from the paper advocates coming up with some free coffee and snacks. Everyone's welcome to stay and join us. Thank you very much again for your time.
Good job. Thank you.
And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Please write an article. She was his card. Did a great job.
You guys have a card?
Thank you. Oh, me as well.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. We do a swap.
This is my little booth.